Hi, I'm Dr. Elise Diamond. I'm an OBGYN and I help women with PCOS and I also have PCOS. This video is educational only, not medical advice, so please talk to your doctor before you start anything new, especially fasting. All right, so what is fasting? Fasting just means you take a break from eating for a certain amount of period of time. Some people who do fasting for religious purposes might also abstain from water, but oftentimes what I'm talking about here are going to be what's considered a water fast, where you're actually drinking water while you're fasting. And you can sometimes add in other things such as sparkling water or diet sodas, although for you, you may notice that that may actually break your fast, even though they don't have calories. So let's talk about the different kinds of fast. So the first type is intermittent fasting. That's the ones that you may have heard of. Some people do where they shorten their eating window, right? So during a 24-hour period, you may fast for 16 hours and then eat for 8 hours. And so that could look different for everyone depending on what works for you. I think most people find that skipping breakfast is the most easy and straightforward thing to do, but for your schedule, it may mean that eating a breakfast and lunch and skipping dinner is the thing that makes sense for you. So if you are just missing one meal, you're pretty much getting close to that 16-hour fast. If you can't get to that point, then I say try to move your meals a little bit closer together. So move your dinner back a little bit earlier and move your breakfast a little bit later until you have reached, a 12-hour, 14-hour, and eventually 16-hour fast. Do it slowly. Don't overstress your body, but aim for, if you're going to do intermittent fasting, 16 hours of fasting at least. Now, for longer fast, that would be like a 24-hour fast or longer. And again, you're drinking water during this time. That's a water fast, different than a dry fast where you're not drinking water. During a 24-hour fast, you are going to notice that after the 16-hour point, your hunger actually may drop. You may not feel as hungry because your hunger hormones are lower at this point as your blood sugar starts to regulate. After a 24-hour fast, it's really important to break your fast with a good meal, something that has a lower carb balance to it, something high in protein, high in healthy fat. You really don't want to break your fast after a 24-hour fast or longer with something that's really high in carbohydrates. Even something like vegetables, you want to be careful because they have a lot of fiber in them, so they do have those carbohydrates in them. So you can start with something like nuts or cheese would be a really good thing to break your fast with. And then maybe 30 minutes or an hour later, you can have like a full meal. Again, I would emphasize not a high carbohydrate meal. If you want to do a longer fast, 36 hours, 48 hours, or longer, I recommend that you speak with your doctor or a nutritionist for this, but these can be really helpful. The best thing about longer fasts is that they actually can change your gut microbiome. And so by changing your gut microbiome, you may notice that your appetite changes. Your ability to lose weight before when you weren't able to lose weight can improve. So doing a little bit of a longer fast, 24 hours or longer, can actually change the way your gut metabolizes food. And oftentimes when you do break your fast after these times, you're going to want to incorporate foods that have good probiotics. So fermented foods or taking a probiotic or yogurt, those are going to be good things to consider breaking your fast. But that's something that you're going to have to kind of play around with and see what works for you. That's not going to make your stomach upset, because after a longer fast, again, you want to take it slow and ease back into eating and not jump straight into a full meal. I really like the book Fast Like a Girl. I find that it's very helpful, it's very approachable, and it makes fasting really easy to understand. So generally, when you're fasting, what that does is it gives your body time to reset your insulin, the hormone that processes sugar in your body, as we've talked about. So this is going to help with insulin resistance, which is very tied in with PCOS. And so this can ultimately help with if you have reached a plateau with weight loss, fasting can really help break through that plateau. And ultimately, this can help regulate periods and help with sugar cravings and just cravings in general. So when you are fasting, your body gets better at using stored energy. And so that is one way to kickstart any weight loss that you're trying to do, but it also just helps regulate your blood sugar metabolism and ultimately regulate your cycles over time. So, fasting, is it safe? That's a question I get a lot. Well, fasting is not for everyone. You really shouldn't use fasting if you are underweight, if you have a history of eating disorders, if you're pregnant, if you're on certain medications, especially diabetes medications, and if while you're fasting you ever feel dizzy, weak, shaky, or anxious while fasting. I want you to stop and eat and try again another day. That's your body's way of saying, this is really not working for me right now, and you can come back and try it again. Always listen to your body. I generally recommend that you don't jump straight into a 24-hour fast. You're going to want to ease into it and be gentle with yourself. So we talked about spacing out your meals a little bit, and definitely start with the 16-8 before you attempt a longer fast. Remember, water, herbal tea, coffee, those are generally okay during fasting, but anything with calories will break the fast, and even sometimes things without calories, if it's a diet drink, could potentially break your fast. Everybody's a little bit different on that one. So when you do eat, you need to make it count, right? You don't want to binge a whole meal. You really want to get that meal to be something that you've put a lot of thought into. You really want it to be high in protein and high in healthy fats, olive oil, nuts, avocado. And then fiber is also really important to incorporate in that as well. You're going to want to consider vegetables, but not overdo it on the fiber. That's going to help your blood sugar stay steady as you break your fast. When you're fasting, it should work with you. It really should not work against you. If it makes you feel calmer, clearer, more in control, that's amazing. And I'm so glad that you have found this tool for you. But if fasting makes you anxious, tired, or more obsessed with food, then it may not be the tool for you right now. And that's okay. There are many paths to deal with PCOS, and fasting is just one of them. So thanks for watching. Next up, we're going to talk about diet, especially low carb diet.